Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to another episode of the South Carolina Gamecocks Dynasty here on EA Sports College Football 25. The Gamecocks have their first home game of the season and they welcome an FCS school to Williams-Brice Stadium. South Carolina State is in the house, as coming off a loss last week on prime time Sunday in Atlanta, Georgia to the Virginia Tech Hokies. Gamecocks hope they can get their first one of the season against the South Carolina State Bulldogs, the actual FCS team here in the game. We're going to take a look at the highlights of this game, and my goodness, there were quite a bit of highlights, especially this man right here. 2nd and 8 in the first quarter. Sellers across the middle finds Tyshawn Russell to the 13. As now the next play fake. Sellers again looks across the middle. Tyshawn Russell for a first down. I won't spoil it, but my goodness, did those two have a connection this game. Gamecocks up early, and then later it is 21-0 after 2 touchdown passes to Elik Ayomanor. The Sellers now up to 3 already, and we're still in the first quarter. He takes off for a big run here. 3 rushes already for 79 yards. Next play, 3rd and 2. It's a pitch pass to Tyshawn Russell, who's going to find the end zone for a touchdown. Actually, that was in the second quarter. How about 28-0? 4 touchdown passes in the first half for Lenoris Sellers, and we're maybe not done. From the 20-yard line, floater for Harbor, and he's got the grab. That's 5 first-half touchdowns for Sellers, 35-0 at the half, and, well, maybe not done yet. Next drive, screen, Russell again, end zone touchdown, 42 first-half points for the Gamecocks. And, yes, Sellers in this game threw for 8 touchdowns. That's 8 touchdowns. That's insane. That is a school record. Here's another one here in the third quarter as he finds Russell again, who caught 4 of those. And, well, the Gamecocks, they smashed the Bulldogs in this one. 56-17 ended up being your score. As you can take a look at the stat line, 375 yards and 8 touchdowns for Lenoris Sellers. 7 carries for 112 as well. You can see the numbers. Russell had 4 of those, Ayomanor 2, McReynolds 1, as well as Nick Harbor. Defense, there was really no highlights in this game. The defense was actually kind of underwhelming. But Sellers gets SEC Offensive Player of the Week as well as the country's Offensive Player of the Week thanks to his performance. And yes, that 8 touchdowns is a school record. Congratulations, Lenoris Sellers, on entering the record books here with the Gamecocks. Now, it's not the SEC passing touchdowns in a game record because last year at Missouri, Cook threw for 9. So if it weren't for Brady Cook last year, it would potentially be in that record book. He gets Country Offensive Player of the Week. VJ Payne of the Kansas State Wildcats gets defense in the SEC. It goes to DJ Hicks of Texas A&M with 3 sacks. So we take care of business. Let's take a look around the league. The Florida State, they quote-unquote upset Wake Forest. I don't really think that's an upset, though. Michigan dominates Oklahoma 38-17 on the game of the week. Oregon gets in a win against Oklahoma State. The Cowboys, not a good start for them. And then Notre Dame squeaks past Miami despite a great performance from Dante Little. Take a look around the country. The Rebels beat Liberty 29-17. The Flames made it to the Final Four last year. They lose their first game. Missouri blanks Kansas. They're 0-3 to begin. Iowa State beats their rival Iowa 27-13. Nebraska with a win against Akron. Arizona State beats Mississippi State 16-10. In the Battle of Arkansas State beats the Razorbacks 31-25. Not a good look for Arkansas, who starts off 0-2. And then Auburn loses to Ball State. Not a good week for the SEC as the Cardinals beat the Tigers. Pittsburgh dominates Central Michigan. LSU at least beats their in-state team in Louisiana Tech. Memphis goes to Georgia State and wins by 3. Michigan, with their win, is now the top team in the land. The big win against Oklahoma. Wisconsin, I thought they were a dark horse in the Big Ten, but they lose to Middle Tennessee State this week, 35-30. Maryland now a top 10 team as they smoke Northern Illinois 41-3. And Clemson starts 0-2. They lose to Troy at home in Death Valley. I am not too upset about that. Tulane beats South Alabama 45-3. Syracuse in a battle of basketball blue buds beats UConn. Florida beats USF this year 27-16. Alabama smokes Louisiana Monroe 41-6. West Virginia takes care of business on the road against Ohio. Very rare Power 4 road game. Toledo beats Western Kentucky. Texas State loses to UTSA, so the Bobcats go down in the I-35 showdown Virginia Tech now 2-0. They beat another SEC school, Vanderbilt, this week. Louisville beats James Madison. Purdue takes care of it against Jacksonville State. Western Michigan knocks off North Texas. Texas Tech with a win against Colorado State on the road. About FAU beating Boston College. Big win there for the Owls. Kansas State squeaked past Army thanks to their BJ Payne performance on defense. Texas bounces back with a win against San Jose State. A&M, the Aggies, they knock off Utah State Aggies. Oregon, we saw beat Oklahoma State. Arizona gets a win. Oregon State beats Fresno State. Big win there for the Beavers against the Bulldogs. Utah beats SMU, starts 0-2. Old Dominion with a win against Marshall. UAB still ranked, trying to get back to the playoff from last year. They beat Rice on the road. Washington takes care of UCLA on the road. Kentucky with a big rivalry win against Tennessee. And we see Washington State beat San Diego State in a close one by 2. Florida State with a win against Wake Forest, 45-27. NC State knocks off Appalachian State, and North Carolina beats Charlotte. So the ACC North Carolina schools with some victories. USC beats Georgia Southern. Duke loses to Illinois by 21. Minnesota gets blanked by Cincinnati. Not a good start for the Golden Gophers. And then we see Miami barely lose to Notre Dame in a big matchup to close the week. Here's a look at your rankings. We see Oklahoma fall, so basically everybody else will move up. Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, the Big Ten again dominating the top 3, followed by Georgia to round out the 4. And a couple teams at the bottom get into the rankings: Texas, Houston, and UCF. A couple of games around the country this week. LSU will play host to UNLV. It's not a prime, really, week for the top battles. A couple of Big Ten top 10 schools going on the road, though. Rutgers against Purdue and Maryland against Tennessee should be interesting. And then the Big 12, Kansas State will play TCU. Next episode, we will play Coastal Carolina as we wrap up the early portion of our non-conference slate, trying to at least get back to above 500 before we begin SEC play. Chanticleer should be a team that we beat pretty comfortably. You don't want to sleep on Coastal Carolina. They are led by a pretty solid quarterback. And our defense, honestly, has not performed, I would say, that great. Yes, they only gave up 17 to South Carolina State, but no sacks and no turnovers. Leaves a little bit to be desired. So that'll be in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little shortened version of the FCS game. I couldn't really use some of our players like McReynolds and Ayomanor since they are transfers in here too. But I enjoyed doing the FCS matchup. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more Dynasty Mode content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.